Hey guys, Trey Tanner here, real estate investor and coach. And today I'm going to be teaching you guys the proper way to comp. Let's get it. Let's go.
All right, guys, let's get right into it. So the first thing I want to do, our lead source is going to be for sale by owner. So I'm just going to open it up and just go over some for sale by owners, and we're going to comp them. So let's start off in like Oklahoma City. Oklahoma is kind of a nice market because it's not overly expensive. So I want to just open this all the way up. From 200,000 to no max. There we go. Home type, houses, two more. Let's see. Coming soon, owner up. I'm just going to set this up for us real quick. I typically look at the 1 days, but we don't have any 1 day listings. So we're going to open it up a little bit and see kind of what we have. I'm going to reset all filters so we can kind of look at everything and isolate owner posted. Okay, so here we go. So what you want to do is, the first thing you want to do, if you want to find a deal, but we're also going to comp at the same time, you want to have square feet going down, like from largest to smallest. Now that we're at this step, what we'll do is I'm just going to max the prices out at like, I don't know, 300,000, because I want to comp something that actually is worth comping. All right, so look at this one right here. Well, that's like an apartment. I want to isolate houses for this example just because most of you guys are going to be looking at houses. Okay. I think I want to pick this property here because it's sub $200,000. Yeah. Okay. So here's a property that it needs some work. They're asking 170, and the Zestimate is 248. So here we go. So the first thing we want to do is go over a couple of key indicators before we just jump into if this property, like what is this property worth, okay? So the first thing I want to do is I actually want to see what this property looks like on Google Maps. Okay. So it's in a nice, I think this is property here, nice little residential neighborhood. Very nice, right? Very cookie cutter. A side street is not on a double yellow line. Properties that are on double yellow lines, they comp lower than properties that are on side streets. So this is very, very good. Okay. The second step I want to take is I want to take a look at what the household or the median home value, not the median home value, what's the median income for this property in this given area. So the median household median income is very important when you're comping properties because you need to make sure that you're not dealing with properties that are in severely impoverished areas, because a lot of cash buyers don't want to be in areas that are, for lack of a better term, they're in bad neighborhoods. Okay, so cash buyers don't want to be in bad neighborhoods when they're purchasing property. So with that being said, I like to look at this number here, the 2023 estimated tract median family income. So a household median income, it is letting you know how much money that people make in a given area. And for whatever reason, this website, it used to have like the outlines there, and on your browser maybe it will do it for you, but it will let you know the boundaries of the actual census tract that you're in. Essentially, we're going to be looking at a census tract is a zip code within a zip code. It's like it's a pocket. You ever heard, hey, don't go past the railroad tracks because it's crime past there? That's kind of the same thing with the census tract. A lot of the census tracts, their boundaries are bounded by railroad tracks. So, a little fun fact for you. So, $92,000, $93,000 is pretty high. My rule of thumb is that I don't like to wholesale anything that's less than like $35,000. So, that's that. Now, the next thing I want to go to is the FEMA National Flood Hazard Layer. And guys, I'm going to put all these links in the description so that you have them and that you can add this to your repertoire, because it's very, very important, because you don't want to be comping properties that are not in the same census tract as the one that you are the subject property that you're evaluating, right? So here it is. I'm looking at the flood map now. This is not in the flood zone. Let's see if we can kind of capture a flood zone. Hey, you see this? So like if it was over here, like this zone AE, that denotes that if a house was in this area, that it would need flood insurance. That's an added cost. So who does that matter to? Well, it matters to both flippers and buy and hold investors, because the buy and hold investor has to factor that into their monthly costs, right? That's going to take away from their profit. And then a flipper, it may make it harder for that flipper to sell the property if it's in a flood zone when there's other properties that are available that are not in flood zones. You kind of catch my drift? So anyway, let's kind of go back to our subject property here and look at it. We can kind of verify that it's not in a flood zone. I can't tell you how many realtors and wholesalers especially don't know if a property is in a flood zone. And this is kind of basic information that you can do or run before you list a property or ask for a given price for a property, right? The next thing I want to do is I want to see how much this property would rent for. Okay, so I'm going to go to price my rental. I'm going to put that address in there, and I want to see how much this property would rent for. So $16.45. Okay. I mean, that's I like to think that it might rent a little bit more because of the square footage being at like 2,049 square feet, but you know, I mean, that's the average in the area. What we do is we kind of come down here and then we can zoom and see. Our property is here. This property got $17.95. So this one was, we don't know how big it was, but this one we know it's around the same square footage. So we should expect right around $1,700 or $1,750 for ours. So why is this important? It's important for you to know when you're going to market to a cash buyer, you know, who is a buy and hold investor, how much the property can rent out for. That's a part of your comparison. So we can say, you know, as a vote of confidence, that this property, is actually active as well. So maybe it gets $17.95, maybe it doesn't. I like to think that it probably will. But we can say, hey, the property at 10, whatever, Mansell Drive, got this, right? So you can compare our property to this property, okay, from a rental perspective. So the next thing we want to do is we actually want to pull some comps now. All right, we know that the household median income is $93,000, right? We know that it's not in the flood zone. We know that it most likely would rent for $1,600 to $1,700 a month. And so the next step here is to find out, okay, what comps am I taking for this house? So this is what we want to do. What we want to do is we want to zoom in again, isolate our property, which is right here. So I'm going to come right up here, Beacon Hill, right? And this is how I have to do this. All right. Oh, look at that. I'm going to do some more work now because they must have didn't put the address in there, right? So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, change my layer to like a satellite here. I'm going to zoom out a bit, and okay, I am in Beacon Hill, so that's good. So guess what? I'm going to be pulling comps in this immediate area. You see my cursor here? I don't even want to cross Hefner Road if I don't have to. I want to stay south of Hefner Road. So with that being said, now that I know where the property is at, even though it doesn't show it properly here on Zillow, I know that I'm right over here. Yeah, there we go, satellite. So what we want to do is, I think this is our property here. No, we're close. So this is what I want to do. Here's the point. What I want to do is I want to go to the More tab, and I want to change this now, and I want to look at sold. Okay, so I'm going to kind of do a reset here. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. Apply. Alright, so this is without prop stream, this is without prop wire, this is just bare bones. How much can a property sell for? And as you can see, we have some comps on the same street, which is very, very nice. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Okay, this is what we got to do. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that the property has sold within like the last 6 months. Okay, so that's very good. So you see how this is like a brand new property. That's why we don't want to cross over the street. So important for you to stay in the same subdivision, guys. So important. So I'm going to stay right over here. So I got 260 and a 245. So this 260 here, it's a little bit bigger than our property. 245 is a little bit bigger than our property. But let's take a look at what they look like. That's dated. Okay. That's a dated property, and it's not like fixed up or nothing like that. It's just a regular grandma's house that, that's that. Now let's look at the one that got 245. again, another dated house. So you can see that in as-is condition, these properties are getting like 245, 260. I mean, this is okay. I mean, they have some stainless steel appliances, but this property has not been like done up. Okay, like this is basic stuff. So with that being said, we can take an as-is value. Okay, we know ours is, let's go back here to the price of my rental. So that's 2,049 square feet. I'm going to do something here now, okay? I'm going to take a price per square foot. Now, there's a lot of people who don't like the price per square foot method. I'm actually one of them, because I tend to believe that it kind of comes down to understanding the neighborhood a little bit. But just as a bare bones, right? I could say, well, this one got 249. Let's look at this one. Before I make any assumptions, let's look at this one at 249. And again, it's another dated house. This is just what they look like. Right? I am going to say, I'm going to take this property here. Right? I could take this one as an as-is value. Let's look at this one. This is 6 months ago. Oh, this one has a pool. This is a good example of what you're not supposed to do. So you definitely don't want to compare the property that we have, right, to this one, because this one has a pool, and this one is going to increase the value of like the ARV by like a possible 15%. It's just a nicer property. You know, it's not overly nice, but it definitely is more. It's better than the previous other properties that we took a look at. So with that being said, here we go. This one got 340, and it got 340 like 6 months ago as of this recording. So what I want to do is I want to take an as-is value on this property here, because it's a little bit smaller. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say 249.9 Yeah, I know I'm going to the Nats, but that's okay. Divided by 2,255. That's a price per square foot of $110. Right? $110 per square foot. I'm going to multiply that times ours, which is the 2,049, and so this is what I'm going to get. Go back to the property. So multiply this times 2,049, and I get $227,000. That's not really off. That kind of makes sense. I probably would round it up to 235, but that's just from feel and experience. If you comped an as-is value at 230, you wouldn't be off, right? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to clear this out. We're going to say, now remember, we need to get a deal. Now they were asking, I believe, like 170, right? So if we took 230 times 0.7, right? Remember, 70% minus repairs, right? It's $161,000. Okay. Now let's get back to our property and take a look at it and verify what it looks like, because we've been looking at other properties, right? Let's see what kind of pictures we got, if we have any. I don't think we have any. So now we're at 170. Oh yeah, we have some pictures here. I mean, it's in somewhat of crappy condition. I mean, it's not the greatest, right? It's dated for sure. They want 170. I mean, I think that's the problem. I think that's the reason why this property's been on there for 31 days. It's because, I mean, let's see what they got their estimated ARV of, 288. You see what I'm saying? I mean, this is the stuff that I always talk about. It's like, you know, you don't want to be that real estate agent who's an idiot, and this is a real estate agent who's just, you know, showing incompetence by saying that the ARV is 288. If it was 288 at 170, it would have sold by now, but it's not 288. It's 230, and we proved that by looking at comps. We just did. So this is 161. Now we need to subtract some repairs from this. Looking at this property, to be honest with you, this is about a $25 per square foot rehab. So it's going to cost you about $50,000. Okay, it's going to cost you about $50,000 if you're going to flip it. So if you're going to flip this property, you're going to need it like without a wholesaler. Let's just do the math, right? Minus 20. Let's clear it out. So let's just do 20 times, well, I said 25, excuse me. 25 times, let's clear it out, 25 times 2,049. Yeah, right around 50 grand. So with that being said, I'm going to take that away from the 161. I mean, for easy math, I mean, you guys can see that that's 110. Right? So that's 110. So that's how much you need to walk into this property for in order for you to make some money, especially at 75% minus repairs. I know of corporate buyers that would purchase this property just because it's Oklahoma City, and that's your leverage as a wholesaler that you need to have. You need to know who can pay the most. But I'm pretty sure that like a buy and hold investor might walk into this property for like, I don't know, 140, 150, max 160 if they really wanted it. But most likely around like 150 just because they're not going to do it up to the nines. But with a nice $50,000, this house is going to look really, really nice with, granite countertops, paint, new carpet, maybe not even carpet. Maybe they're going to put the faux laminate in, stuff like that. Paint it gray, put a yellow door on it, new bathrooms, all of this stuff that flippers do. So at the end of the day, what was I trying to show you guys in this video? I'm trying to show you guys that it's so important for you to comp properties correctly. Because if you don't comp properties correctly, you are going to make massive mistakes. So if you're a wholesaler, guess what? You need to be looking at this property and saying to yourself, if I'm going to sell it to a buy and hold investor, I'm at most going to offer this person like 120, 125. If I'm going to offer it to a flipper, I mean, it's going to be harder for you to do that because they're already pretty much, set on 170. You're going to have to come down to 100, right, and try to eke out like a 10 spread on a wholesale deal. So, guys, study this, watch this a couple of times, and study what I did because it's so important for you to not make these mistakes. As always, I'm going to put the links in the description, but definitely check out my Facebook group, The Sauce, where I can post even more videos, more comping videos, and go over more in-depth things. But yeah, this is kind of the overview without prop stream, without prop wire on how you're going to comp properties. So I hope this was helpful. Keep working, keep pushing, and whatever you do, don't quit. Until next time, like and subscribe to content, ring the notification bell. Peace.